All right, everybody. This is A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 3. So the episode starts with Egg waking up early to train with the horse, and I guess training himself to be a good squire for Duncan. Some mysterious one-eyed bandit approaches Egg and asks him if he stole the horse. Egg says it's not stealing if you intend to give the horse back. And then the guy tries to take the horse. The horse is stubborn, and the horse doesn't want to be taken by some one-eyed bandit. So Egg calms the horse down. Then Mr. One-Eye just stares at Egg and goes, "What's wrong with your hair?" He doesn't have any hair, by the way. Egg looks back and goes, "What's wrong with your eye?" And then the camera just zooms in ominously at the one-eyed man. Okay, we get a flashback of the man losing his eye in a tourney, and then Egg reveals the man to be Sir Robin Riesling. I'm reading like the little subtitles. Sir Robin Riesling. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure I'll find out in a few minutes. They say he's the maddest knight in the Seven Kingdoms. Sir One Eye says that Egg is too small to be a squire. And Egg is like, "I serve under Sir Duncan the Tall. He's big enough for both of us." So Egg sees Dunk like sewing some patches into his clothes, I guess. And Egg is like, "Shouldn't I be doing that?" And Dunk is like, "Do you know how?" And he doesn't. So then he like orders Egg to go clean the horse off. Egg is like, "I want to eat breakfast." Dunk says he'll have breakfast after we've cleaned the horse. But then he teaches him how to sew anyway, so that was like a cute little bonding moment. Egg is growing black hair from his stones. Sounds like he's going through puberty. Uh, what the fuck else happened? What did I just watch? Then we cut to a scene of Egg in a tree, shaving down a stick into a spear, and he's singing a song about the Black Fire rebellions. Very, very cute. Um, Dunk is ready to go and enter the lists, but Egg tells him he can't enter the list today because he is not a knight of high birth or renown. It's not your turn. You have to wait, you lowly born peasant. I'm really enjoying the camaraderie between Dunk and Egg. Like they went and got some goose eggs. They make some sandwiches from the eggs and the salt beef, just like a steak and egg sandwich. It looked pretty good. It wasn't seasoned, but it still looked pretty good. They then go and watch the joust at the tourney. Somebody gives Dunk something to drink. It was nasty. It was probably piss because they were all laughing at him. Just watching Dunk and Egg joke around with each other, mocking each other's voices. Egg fantasizes about leading a great campaign and getting a parcel of land from his lord and marrying the second most beautiful daughter. Real cute, real cute. Egg asks if he can stay on as Dunk's squire after the tournament, and Dunk is like, "Well, if I lose, I won't have much for you to do." And Egg is like, "Well, what about if you win?" And then the scene gets interrupted by this guy in all black. Let's see what he's talking about. They're out here trying to rig the tourney. They basically want to set up Sir Ashford to lose or something like that. And they want Dunk to be a part of it. And, he can win a lot of money and honors for it, which he desperately needs. But it looks like Dunk is a man of honor and he does not want a victory that he didn't earn. So let's see what choice he makes. So we're back at the tourney and we see Prince Aerion Brightflame come out, and he does seem like a bit of an asshole. He's challenging some lesser unknown knight. They start jousting, and Egg is rooting against Prince Aerion Blackflame. He wants the other knight to kill him. Aerion just stabbed the other knight's horse in the neck. The guy falls off the horse. I don't know what he fell on, but he's hurt really, really bad. The crowd just rushed the field. I'm not sure what's going on. And it looks like they're about to put the horse out of its misery. It looks like they killed the horse and the knight. Lionel Baratheon is back. He's my favorite character so far. He's drunk, he's singing, he's dancing, he's shirtless. It's always a good time with Lionel Baratheon. So Dunk and Egg are walking through the little town and they encounter a fortune teller. She tells Dunk his fortune. She says that he will become a great man and he'll be richer than a Lannister. Dunk tells her to do Egg's fortune, and she says that Egg will be king and that he'll die in a hot fire and that worms will feast on his ashes and people will celebrate the death of the king. Now, if you don't know, you just don't know, but I do know, and I know this foreshadowing. I know about Summerhall. So Dunk and Egg run into Raymond Fossaway, and then Egg decides to go watch the puppet show. Dunk and Raymond have a private conversation. Dunk still thinks that the whole thing with Aerion, Bright Flame, and that horse was an accident. Egg already told him it wasn't an accident. And then Raymond takes it a step further. He lets him know that the Targaryens are trash, they're demonic, they're incestuous aliens. He doesn't like them. They have no respect or regard for Westerosi customs or the culture. They're just a bunch of silver-haired, incestuous freaks who flew in on dragons and burnt them the fuck up. And he doesn't like them. This is our first time seeing like how the common folk feel about the Targaryens, because we usually watch this story from the perspective of the High Lords and the nobles. Today we're watching it from the perspective of the peasants, and the peasants are not happy. So Prince Aerion walks into the puppet show, and like we see one of the characters killing a dragon. I guess he didn't like that. We then go back to Duncan and the other night, and he's talking about the missing Targaryen kids. There's Daron who's missing. They say he's a drunk. Um, I forget the other one. The other one I think they said was like going to summer hall. I wasn't paying that much attention. But then the youngest one, they say he's useless and they were just going to send him off to the Citadel. And right as he's saying this, Egg runs into the tent and begs for Dunk's help because Arian is hurting the puppet girl. All right, it looks like he just broke one of her fingers. Duncan just rushed in and roughed Arian up a bit. And let's keep in mind, Arian is a prince. You can't be doing stuff like that to a prince. That's a big no-no. So Duncan loosened one of Arian's teeth. So now, as revenge, he's going to break out all of Duncan's teeth. So Egg rushes in and he demands that they stop. Dunk wants Egg to stay out of it because he doesn't want Egg to get hurt. Egg is like, they won't hurt me because they'll have to answer to my father. Now, remember earlier in the episode, Dunk asked the boy if he knew who his dad was, and he said no. So then he starts calling the guards out by name and tells them to unhand Duncan. Arian looks at little Egg and he goes, "What happened to your hair?" Because remember, Egg is bald. Egg says, "I cut my hair because I didn't want to look like you, brother," revealing that he is the brother of Prince Arian, also revealing that he himself is a prince and is also a Targaryen. And that's where the episode ends. This was really, really good. I can't wait to see what happens next week. Let me know how you felt in the comments. Like, comment, share, trying to get those views up because apparently I'm not good at YouTube, but I'm gonna keep stabbing at it. I'm gonna stab at it like I'm in a joust. So again, thank you all for watching.